What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. Today, I'm rolling solo dolo. Diva Locks cannot make it today, but that's okay. I'm your girl, Lady and the Chef, and we got some Knicks content to talk about. So I'm excited to get into that. Um, the Knicks started off their West Coast trip playing the Portland Trail Blazers. The Knicks won that game 105-93. The Knicks are now sitting at 39-27. To be honest, this was a game that I saw the Knicks winning just because this is one of those games that, I feel like every game now, finishing off the remainder of the season, the Knicks need to be able to take. I know it's not realistic, but I'm also being optimistic that the Knicks should be able to take these upcoming games. One, two, Portland is struggling. They are not a good team. They're a young team, but they're just not there yet. So to me, I feel like this is a game that the Knicks should be winning. Um, I like the pace of this game. Jalen Brunson had a really great game, dropped 45 points. Um, the only thing with this game that I felt was that I felt he was carrying the team per usual. Um, I don't know. I know I asked on the last episode if I asked Diva Locks if she feels like the Knicks rely on Jalen Brunson a little too much. And she told me yes. And I do feel like that. I feel like while I love how Jalen Brunson is able to take control and be aggressive, I wish he would have did this when the Knicks played the first game of the back-to-back against Philly, and I wish he would have taken control in that game. But I noticed he did sit on the bench a lot. Not sure if there was anything injury related or what happened that was in that game, but that was also a game for the taking for the Knicks that a lot of times when I look at their standings, although the Knicks are in fourth and I'm happy about that, the Knicks could definitely they should have at least 45, 46 wins by now. So there's a couple of games that slipped through the cracks that I feel like the Knicks should have won. And I do feel like the Knicks rely heavily on Jalen Brunson. I mean, if it wasn't for him yesterday, I don't think the Knicks would have won this game against a not good Portland Trailblazer team. But nonetheless, the Knicks did get the win. Like I said, Jalen Brunson played 38 minutes, finished with 45 points, 4 assists. OG Anunoby played 36 minutes, finished with 12 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. Josh Hart played 42 minutes. He finished with 15 rebounds and 7 points. And then you had Dante DiVincenzo, who played 37 minutes. He finished with 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. And then you have Precious Achua, who played 24 minutes. He finished with 7 rebounds, 4 points. Miles McBride finished with 6 points. Bojan and Alec Burks both finished with 5 points, which is to me is very low. I don't like that the scoring wasn't balanced and that the fact that there was only three players in double figures is I don't know. I just feel like performance wise as a team, I thought the Knicks, yes, they got the job done, but there's not enough balanced scoring without Brandel there. OG just came back. While he did play great the last game, and you see where OG was definitely missed, I just think that the Knicks still lack like decent scoring from players. And I know that doesn't take all. And the Knicks did play very well defensively, and they have holding, teams to under 80 points. Um, but I just think that, a lot of times, again, I'm gonna go back to when I did go to watch the Knicks play Philly on Sunday. There was no one doing anything. The ball was literally just moving across the top of the key from one side to the other because there was really no help. No one was really taking control and going to the basket. There was a couple of like solid, sloppy mistakes of like the turnovers that was happening, but I don't know. I just feel like, just to me, I feel like there's something or players missing, and I don't mean the injured guys that are still out with Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. And one of the things that I questioned with watching last night's game was Isaiah Hartenstein finished with a nine points, 9 rebounds. And I don't know. I felt like watching that game in the last few games, I just still feel like the Knicks need a true center, like a true five position. I like Hartenstein, I like Mitch, but I think one of them would be great as the backup, but they need someone a bit more stronger who, to me, the Knicks can be able to go to as an option to get you those in the paint points. And one of the things that the Knicks have been like drastically, the number has gone down are the points in the paint. They've been averaging around 30, maybe 32 points in the paint, which is very low compared to when they were on that hot streak. They found their identity. The Knicks was scoring like 60 to 64 points in the paint. So again, I just feel like a lot of times when I watch the Knicks move the ball around and they'll get the ball to Isaiah Hartenstein. And I also question the coaches too as to why Hartenstein will get the ball because Mitch does it too. They get the ball, they're right under the basket. And instead of looking for their shot, easy basket, looking to get fouled while trying, these guys would throw it back up at the top of the key. So, I just feel like our center positions aren't really an option, a solid offensive option for us to give us some easy points in the paint. And I just feel like the Knicks need a solid center. Like, I don't think that this is going to cut it moving forward. And I could be wrong. And I always say, I want players to prove me wrong and make me eat my words. But from what I'm seeing from Isaiah Hartenstein, I just offensively would like to see a bit more from him. And this was my biggest complaint with Mitchell Robinson. And I know people told me you got to fall back. Like they told me I had to fall back off for Josh Hart because that's not their game. And, you know, I get that. I understand players have to play their role. But I just think, again, when you look at other teams in the league, other big guys who are typically that play that five position, these guys have a bit more repertoire under their belt as to what they can do down in the paint. And I just feel like the Knicks don't have that, which is, it's unfortunate that we don't because, the Knicks to me, they need fives who can actually score and get in the paint for them. Um, but field goals percentages, the Knicks finished at 43%. Portland was at 40. 3-pointers, the Knicks was 6 for 29 at 20%. Free throws, the Knicks were 23 for 26 at 88%. Portland was 14 for 16 at 87%. Knicks finished with 50 total rebounds, Portland 45. Knicks had 15 offensive, 35 defensive. Assists, Portland had 19, the Knicks had 16. It was blocks was almost non-existent. The Knicks had 1, Portland 2. The Knicks did have 11 steals to Portland's 10. Turnovers, the Knicks had 12, so they kept it fairly low. Portland had 17, so that clearly cost them. Points in the paint, the Knicks had 58. Portland had 34. So this was one game where the Knicks brought it up some. Because normally the past few games, I'm not gonna say normally, correction, the past few games, the Knicks have been at like 30, 32, maybe 34 points in the paint, but they did finish with 58 points in the paint. So, and I think a lot of that, to be honest, was a contribution from Jalen Brunson. I mean, he was just very aggressive. I like that he was explosive getting to the basket. He was having his way. And to be honest, Portland just didn't have an answer and couldn't stop him. And I feel like a lot of teams really don't have an answer for Jalen Brunson or are able to stop him. But nonetheless, I thought that this was a good win. It was a must-needed win to me, in my opinion, as I feel like moving forward, especially on this West Coast trip, the Knicks need to try to gain as many wins as they can on this trip and moving forward. First quarter, Knicks finished with 26, Portland 25. Second quarter, Knicks had 29, Portland had 16. Third quarter, the Knicks had 30, Portland had 27. And fourth quarter, the Knicks finished with 20 and Portland had 25. I know in the beginning of the game, especially in the first half, I felt like the game was quite close. And then the Knicks were able to like pull away eventually in the game. But there was some nice plays. I did see some nice steals from OG. OG has, he did scare me a few times, diving on the ball on the floor for the balls, and looks like he at one point like tweaked his elbow a little bit. But and I love the hustle, but I don't know. I'm like, save that for the playoffs. Don't do all of that right now. I mean, again, I love the hustle plays. I'm here for it, but I think he just gotta be careful. We still have some decent amount of games left for this team to play. Um, but yeah, I just thought the Knicks, they started off a bit slow in that game. Portland had a nice lead in that game, and then the Knicks were able to kind of compose themselves and get back in the game. But we'll see if the Knicks can bring out better energy moving forward. I know tomorrow the Knicks do have a late game. The next few games are going to be late, being at their West Coast games. The Knicks are going to be playing Sacramento tomorrow, and then they play again on Monday against the Warriors, which the Knicks need to. Honestly, I'm gonna say for these next three games, the Knicks need to try to get a win. They play tomorrow against Sacramento. They play again on Monday against the Warriors, and then they play again on Thursday against Denver. So yeah, I'm gonna say I don't even remember what my predictions were for these upcoming games, but I mean, all three are up for the taking. I'm gonna go with the Knicks going 2-1, just because I'm gonna start off with tomorrow's game against the Kings. The Knicks can beat them. I do think that they have to watch out for De'Aaron Fox. Sabonis has been playing pretty solid this season, so I think they got to watch out for both guys. And overall, just watching the Kings, who to me haven't been playing as great as they did last year, but they're in six, so they were able to get themselves. The Warriors are another team. You can't sleep on them because Steph loves to do what he does. I mean, they're in 10th in the Western Conference. Um, and then you have Denver, who's sitting in second. But we already beat them before. All of these teams are beatable. But I just think the Knicks have to be careful with their standings in the East. Right now, the Knicks are sitting in fourth. They're at 39 and 27. They're 3 games behind Cleveland, who's sitting at third. Um, they're 42 and 24. Right behind the Knicks are Orlando. They're in fifth. They're 38 and 28. And this is why I'm saying the Knicks have to be careful with the wins and losses, because Orlando's right on their butts, right on their tails. And then in sixth, you have Indiana. They're 37 and 28. Seventh are the sixth. Philadelphia seems to be slipping, because at one point, I remember for a while they was in that fifth seed. Then they were in the sixth, and now they're in seventh. They're 36 and 30. And then Miami, they're in the eighth, 35th and 30. I wouldn't sleep on either of those teams, but especially Miami, because this is what they did last season. They were sitting in eighth, and one by one were knocking teams out and moving on to the next round. But I just think that the Knicks have to really be careful where they end up in the East and how they finish off the season. And I've been saying this the last few episodes, primarily because I think it's important where the Knicks land, who they play rather in the first round. I don't think the Knicks want to find themselves in the play-in and trying to fight for a way like they're Atlanta or they're Chicago trying to fight their way in. It just would kind of be, I don't know, to me, you kind of, why put yourself through that? You know what I mean? Like, just finish off the season strong. Hopefully, if the playoffs started today, the Knicks would be playing Orlando. The Orlando already beat us, 3 times we beat them the last time we played them. But the Knicks can definitely beat Orlando. I'm not worried about that. I think the biggest concern, in my opinion, is the Boston Celtics. That's the Knicks' biggest problem, because the Knicks have yet to beat them, and the Knicks just seem to not be able to, I don't know, just beat Boston. I don't know what that's about. And I know people in the chat have said, oh, when the Knicks are healthy, they'll be able to beat Boston. I hope you all are right. And it's not saying that I don't believe in them and what they can do. It's just, I just haven't seen it in the regular season, and I've been looking for that. Boston is 52-14. Doesn't mean anything because Boston gets in the playoffs and they don't finish all the way through. They get bumped out. And I also think I mentioned this before, but I think the Knicks have somewhat of an advantage because as we're getting players back onto the team from injuries, I think other teams could possibly suffer an injury, between now and the start of the postseason. So, I think the Knicks will have that advantage of getting their players back. I'm not really banking on us getting Mitch back, at least not in the first round, because Mitch is still in the very, very like early stages of like rehabbing and getting back and conditioning. But Julius Randle, for sure, I feel comfortable with us getting him back in time. I just, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But the Knicks are on a 2-game win streak. I would love for them to keep it up and to be able to get as many wins as they can. I just think that right now the Knicks need every win that they can get. And, if we can snatch up the next 3, that would be great. That would be like, really, really good if we can get those next wins. But I got them at 2-1. And then I'm looking at the season after that. We play the Kings again on April 4th. We play the Bucks April 7th. We play OKC March 31st. That's another team that the Knicks have struggled to beat. And then we have like the Nets in Chicago. So again, a few games. Detroit, Monday the 25th. You got the Raptors. A couple of these games, the Spurs. Those are the games I think the Knicks should be able to win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm counting 10 wins. 10. 16 games left. 16 games left. If the Knicks could go at least 10-6, I'd be happy with that. They can get around that point, I would be happy with that. And they'll be close to where I said they would be. I had the Knicks at 50 wins. It's possible. It's very much possible. I'm not counting that out for this team. It's very much possible that the Knicks can get to that mark. But I'm not even harping on the amount of wins. I'm more so concerned where the Knicks land and where they finish in the East because, again, we're a team that's trying to come back from injuries. And we're slowly getting back there. But I think once fully healthy, this is a very capable Knicks team that is capable of beating anybody in the league. And I just think it comes down to, okay, now when you have everybody who's healthy, how much do the Knicks want it? And the Knicks have to prove that they want it, that they are ready, willing, and able to go out and fight every game. So, I do worry a little bit with the amount of minutes that Jalen Brunson is playing, even Josh Hart. And I know it's like that for him because OG Anunoby just came back, but I don't know. I just feel like he's playing a lot of minutes. And, I hope that he still has that energy when we get to the postseason and he's able to come out and, full-fledged energy and do what he needs to do. So, we'll see. But overall, I thought the Portland game was a very good game for the Knicks. Brunson has just been coming into his own. He's playing at a very high caliber, and I like what I'm seeing from him. But we all see, if you're a true Knicks fan, he's definitely carrying this team. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I think sometimes you got to have somebody who's going to be willing to not just sacrifice his body, but do whatever he needs to do to get his team that W. And Jalen Brunson is that guy, and he's going to do it, And I just feel like Jalen Brunson is going to need some help. And I think this Knicks team is going to be very interesting as to what happens in the off season. And I know this is determined by how the Knicks finish off the regular season and how they finish off in the postseason. So we'll see. We'll see. But we will be back tomorrow morning to go over our predictions for and discuss a little pregame for the Sacramento game, the Knicks play. It's a late game tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'll be tuned into that game. So Diva Locks will be back tomorrow for us to talk about that game. And then the Knicks don't play again till Monday. So I will be on Monday. Now you guys will definitely see me joining on Mondays. I may do a post game for two Knicks chicks, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I do it. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because I'm most likely going to be on Dope Soul Sports and Knicks Talk on Mondays, and joining Steph and her channel, and speaking all things New York Knicks. And yeah, we'll see. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so actually, correction, that's the Queen's Court. So I'll be on the Queen's Court on Mondays, on under the Dope Soul Sports and Knicks Talk, Nothing But Knicks channels. Salute to Queen. So I'll be on there on Mondays. So I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna do the day, whatever. I'll figure out the day for two Knicks checks when I'll be on. Being that we come on Saturdays now, but if not, it'll probably be Tuesdays. It'll be the day that I'll come back. But yeah, salute Eddie C. But yeah, we will definitely, like I said, Saturdays are our days now that we'll be on. And then most likely it'll be on Tuesdays, being that I am going to be joining the Queen's Court on Mondays. So I'll be doing two Knicks tricks on Tuesdays, and then probably again on Thursdays. So I'm trying to come up with a decent schedule, so that way, you guys know when we're coming on. And I'm usually pretty good at having the thumbnails ahead of time. So that's why, you guys can check us out. But yeah, today's show was really short. I just wanted to recap the Portland game. I thought it was a pretty solid game. I just think that the Knicks are still missing something, and I don't know, maybe when I see them play tomorrow, I don't know, and then playing again on Monday, maybe I won't feel that way, because I don't know, I feel like the scoring is very up and down. You know what I mean? Like some games you'll have Miles McBride and he'll give you 14. Precious may give you 10. And OG Anunoby gave you 12. And again, I'm not banking on Josh Hart giving, scoring 20 points every night. But, Bojan, I don't think 5 points is going to cut it. And Alex Burke, I do not understand why Tibbs is not giving Shake any minutes. Yet he keeps giving Alex Burke minutes, who's giving you a mediocre 5 points. Honestly, for all of that, you could have kept Grimes on the team, who actually played way better defense. You could have just kept Grimes. I mean, am I wrong? Because Alex Burks is not really doing anything for the team. I'm not seeing anything on the floor that's making me go, oh, well, I see why Tibbs got him in the game. It'll be, yeah, I could see why we have him. And I don't see why we have Alex Burke in the game. Can't even give you 10 points. And he's getting the looks. Jalen Brunson is passing him the ball. Now, Bojan, I don't know. And I brought this up the last episode. I just don't feel like Tibbs runs the offense well with a player like him. I saw someone mention, I can't recall who it was, and they said, I don't think Tibbs know how to run an offense with these international guys who know how to shoot. And I was like, That's actually a really good point. And I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think Bojan is definitely a better shooter than Fournier. I've mentioned this already before, but I just don't like the way the offenses ran where, and I used to say this even when Grimes was on the team. Some of it was Grimes, whether it was the confidence in him rushing a shot, and the other half of it was Tibbs. I just didn't like the way he runs his offenses with shooters. I don't know. I guess you gotta be a player who knows how to create his own and get to the basket, and Tibbs will keep you in. But then again, that doesn't make sense because he puts Alex Burks in, and Alex Burks is not one of those players who he's gonna do all of this a special move to get to the basket. I mean, again, I'm not sure why do we have him on his team. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be Saturdays is definitely our like for sure confirmed spot. We'll be on Saturdays. So every Saturday, two Knicks tricks will be on, and then we'll be on Tuesdays and either Thursdays or Fridays. So at least 3 days a week we'll be on. Yeah. Yeah, the Knicks 3 pointers is they were 20%, 6 for 29. That's not gonna cut it. And I just think that the Knicks are missing something. I don't even necessarily think that this was a game where necessarily you can say collectively everyone was off. I just think that sometimes when I look at the Knicks and I look at the shooting, there's really no options. It just seems like everything falls on. Because even when if Randall was here, Randall would have had respectively 20 plus points. Jalen Brunson had his 45, or vice versa. Randall would have had 45. But I just think a lot of times it falls on the same one or two people. And Knicks are lucky they have OG back. You need somebody with that explosive energy, but I don't know. We made many free throws. That was big difference for us. Yeah, well the Knicks were 23 for 26. So they was at 88%. I mean, yeah, the Knicks have to learn to get to the line. And then when they do get to the line, they have to learn how to knock down the free throws. Yeah, I believe Burks is going to be going also in the offseason. I don't see the Knicks keeping him. To me, he just doesn't seem like a fit for this team. Like I said, for all of that, we could have kept Grimes. I don't see it. I'm trying to see it. I don't see it. And yeah, I think that the Knicks definitely need to play Shake. I don't know why Tibbs hasn't given him any burn or any minutes, but yet he keeps putting Burks in the game. I think this is a perfect opportunity with these last 16 games to here and there sprinkle Shaken for a couple of minutes. And I'm not talking about a minute or two. I'm talking about give him at least 5 minutes. You give it, Alex Burke played 4 minutes last night. You give Shake a couple of those minutes. I don't know. I don't know if it's a merit system there where for Tibbs where because Alex Burks has been in the league longer. I don't care about that. I'm not saying that's what it is with him, but that's what it comes off as. He's not cutting it. And you keep wasting all this time on him. I'm not sure why. But Bojan, I need him to give us some more points. 5 is not going to cut it. I need at least 14 minimum from him in a game. I mean, that could have helped out. That's why Jalen Brunson had to score 45 points. There's no help. There's no help on his team. And again, there's some games where, like I said, you will see Precious Achua with 10, 12 points. Dante DiVincenzo, quiet game from him, only 12 points. I mean, what's going on? So, I know I come off like a harsh critic because, most people be like, oh, but they won the game. Yeah, and I'm gonna take the win. A win is a win, even the not pretty ones. But I just think that I get a little worried when I think about the Knicks moving into the first round of the playoffs. The playoffs, period. Like not even just necessarily the Knicks being on and being able to shoot and make shots, but other guys stepping up to contribute. And it can't just fall on Brunson and Randall. Like we know Josh Hart can help out and give you the rebounds you need, give you the fast break points you need. OG, I see him contributing as well. Isaiah Hartenstein, I don't know. Ever since he had that sore left Achilles injury, I don't know. I haven't seen that same energized, high energy, explosiveness from Isaiah Hartenstein. And maybe we'll see that in the postseason. Maybe we will. I don't know. I don't want to count him out yet. I'm definitely not doing that. Dante DiVincenzo, I'm going to give him a break because he has been consistent for the most part. We know he can give you 20, 23 in a night. And Precious Achua, I'm not really sure what happened tonight with him. I know I've seen these type of games before with him where he's given us maybe 9, 10 rebounds, but only 4, 5, maybe 6 points. And then Miles McBride, again, he still has those games where some games he can give you 14, 16 points, and then he has other games where he's only going to give you about 5 or 6. I think he's still finding his own, and he's finding that consistency within himself as a player. So certain guys, I'm not gonna beat them up and harp on it because I know they can make up for it in other games. But we'll see. We'll see, especially in tomorrow's game. I think the Knicks have to be on point for Saturday, Sunday, and their next game when they play after that on Denver, which is the following Thursday. So they have a little break from the Warriors game to Denver, which is nice. But yeah, tomorrow's game, the Knicks they have to be ready. The energy has to be there. Guys got to be ready to, put these guys away. Just get the job done so you can go home and get a little rest and then be prepared for Golden State. So we'll see. But yeah, salute to everybody who joined in today. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to answer this last chat. Eddie said, I noticed also that Brunson played too many ISO. Yeah, but the problem is that Brunson doesn't have any options. Like this is the point that I'm trying to get at when I'm watching like the Knicks games. Brunson has to take over because, prime example, when we went to the Knicks Philly game on last Sunday, when Brunson was on the bench and Isaiah Hartenstein, because Tibbs had them on the bench a lot, you notice the difference. You notice the difference. We had McBride running the point, which was fine, but there was nothing happening offensively. No one was going in for a mid-range shot. Everyone on the Knicks was settling for a 3-point shot. Not sure why. Instead of taking the ball inside. But rebounding, we struggled to get a rebound when Isaiah Hartenstein was on the bench. And I've noticed that in other games when he's on the bench, seems like Precious, a couple other guys, they struggle. You get Josh Hart, he's a great rebounder, and he'll go in and get a rebound. But I think Brunson has to play the ISO ball because he doesn't have a player like Randall on the floor with him who he could pass to and can make a shot. Josh Hart is not really known to, shoot a mid-range shot and take a shot. And, he can, but that's not his game. DiVincenzo, sometimes with the mid-range shot, I don't really see him make it as much. Whereas the three-pointer he does. Precious, you kind of in limbo. And then Miles McBride, same thing. It can be hit or miss sometimes. And then Bojan, I don't know. We know he can make those shots, but I feel like he has to work too hard to get points. It's not supposed to come easy, but I notice he has to work way too hard to get a shot. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like this Knicks team, there's no help offensively. Like, I feel like the Knicks need players who can really score. You know what I mean? I'm talking about who can get the team buckets when they need it. And I don't know. We have guys who are capable of doing that, but in certain game situations, like, again, that's why Brunson has to take over and play iso ball. Because who else on the team is doing it? No one else on the Knicks team is doing that, taking the hard contact, doing the mid-range shots to get easy baskets, getting fouled so they can stop the clock and get to the free throw line. The Knicks don't really have other players besides Randall who can do that. And, I think collectively as a team they play well, but the Knicks don't offensively. And that's what worries me. Like, yes, with a healthy team, the ball is going to move, guys are going to get to their spots, we'll be able to put up shots and knock down baskets. But what do the Knicks do when they're not knocking down shots? These guys have to learn how to drive to the basket. They have to learn how to take the ball in. And if you're not going to drive, pull up for a mid-range shot. And this team, they settle too much for three-pointers. If you're not knocking them down, there's other ways to score a basket. It's not just relying on a three and shooting from the outside of the perimeter. So, I just think that that's one of the things that worries me with this team is what happens when you get to the playoffs and you have that one game in a series where no one's able to really knock down a shot. Are we going to keep continuing to shoot threes? Or are we going to try to figure out ways to get a mid-range shot off and get closer to the basket, or use the back of the backboard if you need to, going for a layup? I don't know, surprise me. Because I've seen countless times with this Knicks team where we're still, and I'm not saying to stop shooting. It may come to you, but at some point you got to say, okay, well, let me try to take it in, knock those down, and then I'll find my stride, and then I can go back to starting to shoot a couple of threes, and hopefully those go down. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm getting out of here, everybody. Thanks to you who joined me today. Salute to Eddie C. To the replay gang. Those of you who are new, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Even on a replay gang, hit the like button. And thanks for joining me. We will be back tomorrow for a pregame against Sacramento, and discuss that and our predictions. And then on Monday, I'll be on the Queen's Court, and then I'll be back again next week. We'll be back with more coverage. So until next time, everybody, have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, we'll be on tomorrow morning. And yeah, until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.